Hello, welcome to the Ginger Geek Show. So, two of the biggest writers in Doctor Who in general, to me, is probably Russell T Davies and Stephen Moffat, especially in the New Who. Obviously, Terry Nation's another good example of, in terms of the classic ones, but in terms of New Who, RTD and Moffat are the big two. So, it's always the big question, I guess, who's the better writer? Personally, I'm going to say right now, I think both are great. I think both have their pluses, I think both have their faults. But there's some people just determined out there that, Moffat is terrible and the sun just shines out of Russell's arse for some odd reason, but there we go. But to me, no, I think both have the good and bad points, and today that's what I'm going to talk about. Simply, okay, maybe a bit controversial, I guess, of actually pinning the two together, but very much so. It's a Russell T Davies versus Stephen Moffat show, and talking about simply, I've got some, categories, I guess you could say, of talking about, well, both of what they've done. I'm going to say right now, obviously I'm talking about the whole range of their eras, as well as, obviously, with Moffat, his stuff that he did in Russell's era. Obviously Russell T Davies didn't do anything in Moffat's era, but and also it should be noted that, just because their name isn't on the title doesn't mean that they haven't done stuff in said episodes. Both Russell and Stephen have both admitted that there was stuff that they wrote that wasn't their names on it. A great example was Stephen Moffat when he wrote the Zygon speech in the Zygon two-part. So, it's going to be a bit mixed, but yes, let's begin, shall we, in the first category of talking about Russell T Davies versus Stephen Moffat, the Doctors. Now, I'm going to kind of make it kind of clear here. David Tennant is not my favourite Doctor. Now, obviously, in this case, it would obviously be, I would probably say a quick assurance that people would obviously jump to David Tennant being the best Doctor in New Who. That's entirely up to him, and that's all up to him. But this is going to be a thing of more of my opinion, I guess. It's and I like Eccleston. I really like Christopher Eccleston, actually, if I'm honest. I think Christopher Eccleston is more the what I kind of like. Tennant just changes for me, like especially his last episodes. He turns from quite happy and quite excitable, and then he just becomes an arsehole, really, telling old people that he's going to die. Okay, but I like the difference of Matt's Doctor and Capaldi's Doctor, and I kind of like that we got, to be Moffat did a good mix of having two different Doctors. And there's no point denying that. Also, Moffat wrote quite a lot of Doctors, obviously, Peter Davison's Doctor, the Fifth Doctor in Time Crash, John Hurt as well, he brought him involved and he was brilliant. He finished off Paul McGann's storyline with the Eighth Doctor, again, that was brilliant, doing that many episodes. He's also done the First Doctor as well. Some folks say that was some controversy that he brought in sexism. I want you to watch some of William Hartnell's stuff, and I tell you right now, there is some questionable stuff where he just tells women to do things and all that. To me, obviously, by rights, Moffat has overall actually just not more than just the two Doctors that he has. He has actually written quite a few different Doctors. Obviously, he's written Tennant and Eccleston as well, and he seems to write them more serious, more because I love the Mummy two-parter and a Girl in the Fireplace I love, and obviously Blink as well. And he write I don't know. I feel like Moffat writes them just a little bit better with the Doctors. I find he writes them a bit with more flair and a bit more panache, while Russell, I feel like he just tries to find the joke sometimes a little bit with the Doctor, and I don't know. As I say, I really like Eccleston. I do like Tennant. I don't. It's not like I don't like Tennant, but he's just so overhyped. It's unreal. Yes, this round it goes to Stephen Moffat. Companions. Now for this one, I'm going to be quite honest. I think both have had good companions overall. I don't mind Rose. She's not my favourite, but I don't mind Rose. I really like Martha. I think Martha gets a bit of a kick, that one, really. I don't know why she just doesn't seem to get the respect that she really kind of deserves, especially when you think of like the amount of stories she had to kind of go on alone. And I really quite like that kind of stuff. And obviously Donna, I think Donna's the best one out of the New Who stuff, and I think a lot of people kind of agree with that, and I'm fully behind that as well. I think Donna is like, I think including many others, I didn't like her in The Runaway Bride. She annoyed me she was basically being Catherine Tate in that, the show that she done, and it got very tiresome very quickly in that special. But when she was in the series though, I thought she was great. I really liked it. But for me, Moffat, I love Amy. I have a huge fascination over Clara. It's quite ridiculous. I know a lot of people don't like Clara, and I couldn't care less. People moan so much to have strong companions that can handle their own. They get it, and then they moan about it. So it's I don't really know what to get. And I really like Bill as well. I wish we got more of Bill, but obviously, you know, Moffat was leaving, and so was Capaldi, and obviously that kind of era was done. So how it just worked out. So but I really like what Moffat done more for his companions. I like that they really felt like they had a start and an end, and I quite liked that kind of way of doing it, really, instead of kind of hoping that they probably get a spin-off in the next 20 years, I guess, because you know that it's going to happen. Rose is probably going to spin off, but overall for this one, I actually feel I think both Russell and Moffat did a nice mix of companions. So for this round, actually, I'm going to give both 2 points for this one. Singular episodes. Now for this one is to me, it's quite an obvious one. You know, when you think of episodes like Blink, and you think of episodes like A Girl in the Fireplace, and you think of The Day of the Doctor, and then you think of episodes like Love and Monsters, it's kind of a hard one, I think, there of just who's who, really. For me, in this one, I think Moffat has done a better job with singular episodes. Even like Listen as well is another great example there. I really enjoyed. He's really good at doing kind of. I always feel like monsters that aren't just prosthetic like monsters. It's always just like the corner of the eye sort of thing. Oh, shadows, you know, it's that kind of stuff, and I like that kind of stuff. And I think he's just always done better like singular episodes. For me overall, I look through Russell's work, and it's just like nothing really kind of pops out. I feel like that's a big standout, because most of the time it was really two parts that he'd done really in his kind of era. You know, I guess he obviously got the Christmas specials and obviously the Tennant specials as well, working obviously single episodes, but there's none there where I feel like they hugely stand out, with Blink and A Girl in the Fireplace, and you know, Heaven Sent is a good example, but I guess that's a two-part really, obviously, with that one. But The Day of the Doctor, the 50th anniversary, you know, that was a big achievement to do. And if I'm honest, I feel like if Russell did the 50th anniversary, he would have just thrown everything into it, and I think it would have been a mess, if I'm honest. Yeah, for the singular episodes, for me, it goes to Moffat for this one. Story arcs. Now, there's been, since the kind of start of New Who, there's very much been a heavy thing on story arcs, and apparently in Series 11 we're not going to get said thing. But in the first series we had the Bad Wolf, which I really liked, actually. That was one of my favourites. The second series we had the whole Torchwood stuff was like building up, and the second series was Saxon and that stuff, and the fourth series, I still don't know really what fourth series was trying to do. The fourth series to me is the worst series. I still think it's a bit of a muddled mess. Series 4, I never really liked that one. But Series 5 was the Cracks. That's I'm going to say right now, the Cracks is actually one of my favourite story arcs. Series 6 kind of seemed to have like, it was almost a muddle of the Doctor's death and all that, and continuing on with that. Series 7 was more in the end of it with Clara and her kind of like stuff that was going on. And I guess like after that it was like, well, obviously Series 8 you had Missy, and that was that kind of like story thread that kind of went through. Series 9 was the whole hybrid stuff, which no one seemed to like, and I was kind of including that one. And Series 10 kind of went away from the over-the-top in-your-face story arc, because there wasn't really one actually when you kind of think about it with Series 10. I went quite light with that one. But overall for this one, I'm going to say right now, I think Russell T Davies gets the story arc. I think he really has a good end and beginning, and everything in between with a story arc. My favourite one is actually with Russell T Davies era is the Saxon stuff. I love it when it all comes together in the Utopia episode, and you know, we see that it's the Master and that kind of stuff. I really like that stuff. That was a really fun way of doing it, and I like the Bad Wolf stuff. I think it gets a bit thin when he keeps kind of bringing it up, but overall I really liked that one. I liked Torchwood, the stuff, that was some nice stuff. But for this round, yes, for story arcs, it goes to Russell T Davies. Opening episodes. Pure and simply, Moffat is just far better at doing opening episodes. When you think of Russell T Davies opening episodes, you know, you've got Rose. You know, in time it's getting a bit meh. That one, New Earth is, I think New Earth is a horrible opening way to open a series. I think it's so bland, New Earth, it's ridiculous, that one. Smith and Jones, a little bit better. I don't mind Smith and Jones is a little bit better. And Partners in Crime is just, again, it's just, once we get the the CGI fat babies literally running around. I couldn't care less about that kind of stuff, and I just never feel like he never gets me excited about that said series. I've never got that with any of Russell T Davies opening episodes. And Moffat, on the other hand, I get the complete opposite. I get, 11th Hour. I was right into what Matt's era, his new era. I was so into what we were going with that, and on to the next series. Obviously, it was a two-parter, but it's obviously with the Impossible Astronaut and that kind of two-parter. Again, I was hooked into it. Right, finding out like what the hell was going on, and I really quite enjoyed that. And Series 7 had Asylum of the Daleks, which I don't understand why it gets such a hate. Asylum of the Daleks. I think that's actually Stephen Moffat's best Dalek episode. It's so dark, it's so eerie. I love the scene where Rory, and he finds out the Dalek and he's saying eggs, but actually he's saying exterminate, like really slowly. And I thought it was really well done, that kind of stuff. And I like Capaldi's first episode of his new era, where it kind of brought into that kind of stuff, and his kind of what we're going to be seeing with his Doctor. And again, I was hooked into it. I really liked it, and Series 9 was a two-part. Obviously, it was people say it's a Dalek two-parter. I've always said it's really a Davros two-parter. Really, that Series 9 opener, and I loved it. What they do with Davros. I think is brilliant. And obviously, Series 10 over the pilot is a great way, I think, again, to open an episode. I think Moffat just knows how to really hook people into a new series, and I think he does it really well. So for this round, it goes to Stephen Moffat. Finale episodes. Now, I'm going to be quite blunt with this one. I just said that Moffat's really good at openings. I don't think he's really good at finales. I think a lot of people kind of feel like this. He's good at like build up, but then it gets to the crescendo and it just goes flat. It's a weird one. I don't think I've actually got one finale. Well, I don't mind the Big Bang finale. I guess that's quite a good one, and last year's was not too bad. And I don't mind Hellbent and all that. People, that gets a little bit of hate, I guess, that one. But one thing, the Wedding of River Song, as I says, I was really into the old, who killed the Doctor kind of stuff, what was kind of happening there, and then it just felt flat. It was actually just a robot, all the time, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess. The Name of the Doctor, again, was a bit kind of, like, a bit flat, I guess. It wasn't really kind of much going on for that one for me, but Russell T Davies, he really knows how to end a show, which is ironic, because he doesn't seem to know how to open a show, but he knows how to do a finale, he does it really quite, Stopping the Line, like the Dalek two-parter, for Series 4, that's just a big old Star Wars movie really happening there, and and I like the Last of Time Lords. I think stuff with John Sims really good. I think overall, to me, Russell T Davies does better finale episodes. So for this round, it is Russell T Davies. Original monsters. Now, I just want to make this clear, I don't mean as in original as in classic ones. That's going to be in the next round I'm going to talk about. This is simply creatures and monsters and aliens that said writer has created on their own and from their imagination. And I'm going to say right now it's Stephen Moffat, because Russell T Davies, we've had Slovene, great, good, but Stephen Moffat to me is just far better at creating. You've got the Weeping Angels, you have the Clockwork Droids, the Nightmare Men. They were really great, and the Silence, they were great as well. To me, it had more, and it's not just like of creatures of like that scale. He also did really great with monsters that were Barates, as I said, like they were shadow, or they were the back of the eye kind of sort of stuff, and really played with your mind, and I really liked that, and I thought that was really well done to do that kind of sort of stuff. So to be frank and be quick with this round, it's Stephen Moffat wins this one. Classic monsters. Now, as I always said, this now very much means of monsters that have already been used in the past, and now obviously they've used now in the present. And both have had a good mix of both. Both obviously used Daleks, both used Cybermen, and both used Silurian and some Terrans, but then some kind of had a mix. Obviously Moffat brought in the Zygons, which I loved that design. I thought they did a really good job in refreshing that kind of look. But overall, I feel like they both have kind of done well with using classic monsters quite well and sparingly. I know a lot of people don't like how Moffat's used the Daleks. I kind of disagree with that. I think he's Daleks are Daleks. There's only so much you can really do with them, really, if I'm honest. I prefer he's done with the Cybermen. I never liked Russell T Davies Cybermen. I think they look like plastic tinfoil, if I'm honest. I never really liked him, which is ironic talking about the classic monsters, but I always preferred what Moffat done with Cyber, and how they were literally upgrading themselves as they were getting damaged. That to me, that was quite frightening and quite a smart way of keeping them quite scary constantly there. But yeah, for this round, I'm actually going to give a point to both of them. I think they both have done a good job with the classic monsters overall. Guests. Now, with this one, I'm going to be quite frank with this one, really. To me, I think Moffat just somehow managed to get pure sheer talent in his era. When you look at Russell T Davies' era, he got some good stuff. Timothy Dalton, John Sim, Kylie Minogue, I guess. But some of that felt like stunt casting, especially Kylie Minogue. To me, that was just I just didn't get that one, if I'm honest. But there's some in Moffat. Don't get me wrong, some of it was but stunt casting there. Don't get me wrong, that does happen. But overall, the guests. I've got a list here. I am going to read it out because it's frankly a rather great list of guest stars that they managed to get. So let's begin on this list, shall we? We've got Tony Curran, Toby Jones, Helen McCrory, Ian McNeice, Bill Nye, Sophie Okada, Bill Patterson, Ian Glenn, Michael Gambon, Saran Jones, Hugh Bonneville, Mark Sheppard, Francis Barber, Rupert Grace, Douglas Scott, Jessica Raine, David Warner, Liam Cumming, Dame Diana Bloody Rigg, Warwick Davis, Mark Williams, Richard E. Grant, I love you Richard E. Grant, John Hurt, bloody John Hurt as well, I'll put a chuck and a bloody right there, I will, Kelly Hawes, Ben Miller, Hermione Norris, Paul Kane, Morphy Christie, Colin McFarlane, Reese Shear Smith. I'm pronouncing these names so wrong because I'm so excited already by this list here. Maisie Williams, David Schofield, Ralph Little, and the brilliant David Suchet, as he seems to pronounce his own last word. That is one goddamn amazing list of guest stars, and that's not even all of them. There's some, I guess, obviously Nick Frost I kind of missed out as well. It's ridiculous, the list of guest stars he got in his era. That it's just, it really was how he managed it. I don't, obviously it's not just him, it's you've got casting directors and BBC as well involved, but it's still I can't lie, it's a damn good list. And so for me, it's Steve Moffat gets this round. And the last one, Expanded Universe. Now this might seem like an odd one, but I really wanted to kind of put this one in actually, to be honest, because I wanted to talk about it. Now what I want to say, what do I mean by Expanded Universe, in case some people don't know? It's pure and simply spin-offs, mini episodes, the online activity kind of stuff. And to me, there is a big divide with this one. To me, obviously, Russell T Davies focused more on spin-offs, while Steve Moffat focused for quite some time, especially when Matt Smith's era, on online material, which obviously that was getting more popular at that time, especially little mini episodes that would do some really great ones. I do really like the Moffat one he done just before, I want to say, when Clara got involved of obviously the 11th Doctor looking for Clara, and it's just this park, and it's 3 minutes long, and it's a really beautifully done little mini episode, and I really like that stuff. And it as I say, it expands it quite well with some nice little mini episodes that they've done there. There's some good ones of how Strax actually got resurrected, I guess, obviously after when he died, and A Good Man Goes to War. That stuff is really nice. But to me, who wins this round is Russell T Davies. I love Torchwood. I even love Sarah Jane Adventures. I think that's a great little show. I mean, again, I guess it's a kid show, but it's enjoyable though, and I really enjoy it. And as I say, I love Torchwood. I think that was a great show as well. And I think I like many episodes. I like that. I think it's a fun idea to expand on the universe. But to me, give me a spin-off. I will always enjoy that more. I mean, there was always talks of Paul McGann getting a own spin-off, and the Paternoster Gang was another one of getting a spin-off, but it just never fell through. But Russell T Davies managed to get full-on shows. Obviously, Stephen Moffat was more focusing as well on Sherlock as well, so he was always quite busy with that, really. But yeah, to me, is a clear one of the Expanded Universe one. To me, it is indeed Russell T Davies gets this point here. So the end of this versus match that we had today, it goes by 5 to Russell T Davies and 7 to Stephen Moffat, and it's not much of a gap there, really. It was pretty close. If I'm honest, I think I do really like Stephen Moffat. As I said, I like both, but I think when you clearly look at what I tried to do here with a list. To me, that's it's quite obvious. But obviously, you know, there's no point denying it. This is pure opinion based. There's going to be folk that they'll find that the whole list goes to Steve Moffat, or the whole list goes to Russell T Davies, or even like the whole list could go to Toby Whitehouse. I don't know, you know. And it's completely just pure opinion based, this kind of video, and that's why I want to know what you guys think. I'd love to know what you guys think of this, of who's better, Russell T Davies or Stephen Moffat. I've got a slight suspicion I think Stephen Moffat's going to get severe hate like he normally does, but please give me some variety. It would be quite nice for once. I'd love to know what you guys think. Comment down below. More videos in the future, so until then, see you later.